The following story will shock you. This story would be considered mass murder if you intend to read this story that I'm typing. Viewer discretion is advised. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Star vs. the Forces of Evil is a great show. But if there's one thing that I can erase from my mind, it has to be the one episode that aired during 3 in the morning, just 2 nights ago. Disney is known for not releasing their animated shows on DVD as complete seasons, unlike Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, so I assumed that this episode that I'll tell you about might as well be the reason as to why. I got back home as late as 2:42 a.m. However, this was hours before finals, so instead of studying, I hung out with a few peers. I tried to rest, but I couldn't sleep, so I turned on the TV to Disney XD, and while surfing the TV guide, I noticed that, to my surprise, a new episode was airing. No announcement nor a hint of fanfare was mentioned in either of the channel's site, or both the Star vs. Forum and Reddit posting. No promotional ads online, nor on a TV either. Just right out of the blue. The new episode was about to air. I was curious, although I should have just studied and got prepared for finals week. Nevertheless, it was 3 in the morning, and I was anticipating the new episode. The episode starts with a normal intro. But midway through, just when a male young adult saying, "I'm from another woohoo," the audio was abruptly cut off by sounds of loud screaming, and a short-second audio clip from a real-life mass homicide. The intro ended, and I felt uncomfortable. I wasn't going to give this a chance after watching the intro, but, I just remembered that this was the start of a new episode, and was assuming that maybe this was some type of Halloween special that they forgot to air this year. I did read the TV guide once again, just to double-check if this was the new episode. But while doing that, I was noticing the title of the episode. It read, "Star and Her Forces of Mass Genocide." The meat and potatoes of the episode began with Star Butterfly looking at the camera, as if she was breaking the fourth wall. She said nothing. In fact, she was kind of emotionless. During that scene, her body resembles some uncanny valley, as if this was either an animation error or this was some type of traditional motion capture. She mouthed about something, but I couldn't hear any form of sentence. I don't know if this was yet another case of bad editing, or somehow, that they need to build some type of suspense to foreshadow why we couldn't hear her voice. What also didn't help was a loud static ringing noise that filled the scene. Marco, her boyfriend, walks in her room asking what she's doing, but Star immediately freaked out, as if she was suffering from some sort of PTSD. Marco starts to form a sentence, but it was taking no more than 3.5 minutes. I became jittery as to what the next scene unveils, giving the horrifying events happening in the episode. Marco finally said to Star, "Want to order some pizza?" The editing admittedly looked like some kind of YouTube poop. When he asked, he sounded like there was obvious editing splicing. I shrugged it off. It may have been some video editing prank, or a video joker, as the one African-made film Who Killed Captain Alex taught me, made by a couple college kids. Probably the same group of people that I hung out with, but, whatever. The next scene features Star and Marco at school, walking, while having a conversation. But it seemed like the animators put the same walking cycle over and over the same backdrop of the school hallways, as if this was an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon where backgrounds are recycled during walking or running sequences. In this conversation, Marco asks Star if she was okay after last night. I got scared when Star replied the following, "You see, Marco, I usually say that Earth is the perfect place. Truth be told, it's not. We live in a world of wildfires, homicide, Freemasons, bombings, war, mass shootings, terrorism, tsunamis, suicide. You know, the list goes on. Think about it, Marco. This Earth is a gilded corpse that's been fucked royally by the mass goddamn dystopian media. Whoa, she cursed. And this wasn't bleeped out either. This never happened in this series before, and lecturing about real-life government conspiracies in a kids' cartoon show? Listen, Marco, I will shit fury this fucking dimension. God will pay for the damages that's been happening. As soon as I was about to turn off the TV, I saw a nuclear explosion drawn more realistically than anything else in the series. The citizens, the schoolchildren, Marco, the Queen, everyone else screamed in sheer terror and agony. The only lone survivor was Star herself. I couldn't take any more of this. At that moment, I was afraid as to what might happen next. She was walking back to Marco's place alone with no sound playing, except for a low-quality Freebird by Leonard Skinner playing in the background. That said background sound sounded a little bit more muffled, as if there was some kind of last-minute audio error. After her walk, which went on for 3.5 minutes, the episode abruptly ended. Like, the episode ended by just cutting to black abruptly, jumping to the end titles, similar to the series finale of The Sopranos. I tried to go to sleep. I couldn't even study for the finals, and I was baffled and mortified from this episode. I wanted to type out how this happened, like why this episode suddenly aired once, or if I decided to contact the animators, writers, creator Darren Nefke, many others. But I don't think I can explain it anymore. Like, I don't want to go into more details. I think it's safe to keep my mouth shut. I guess what's scarier than this is the abundance of Rule 34 artwork.